Welcome again as we conclude our exploration of Domain 5 in your CISSP journey, Identity and Access Management, or IAM. This domain may appear straightforward at first glance, but in truth, it is among the most nuanced and operationally critical parts of any information security program. The controls and principles discussed here do not merely live in policy documents. They are enforced every single day through access requests, authentication prompts, password resets, and user provisioning activities. Identity is the new perimeter, and that makes IAM not just a control set, but the very fabric through which access to data, applications, and infrastructure is either protected or exposed. Let's start our reflection by revisiting the cornerstone triad of IAM: identification, authentication, and authorization. Identification allows a system to recognize who is requesting access. Authentication verifies that the identity is real, and authorization determines what actions the identity is allowed to perform. These three steps happen in sequence, often behind the scenes, every time a user logs in or a system makes a request on behalf of a user. We examined authentication in great depth, from the use of passwords and biometrics to more advanced methods such as multi-factor authentication and token-based systems. We discussed how authentication mechanisms must evolve based on the risk profile, device trust, and the sensitivity of the resource being accessed. We explored the dangers of poor password hygiene, credential reuse, and the rise of passwordless solutions as a secure alternative. We moved from individual access to structured models that govern how permissions are granted: discretionary access control, mandatory access control, role-based access control, and attribute-based access control. Each model is suitable in different contexts, whether you're dealing with top-secret information that requires label-based classification or a scalable enterprise platform that demands dynamic access based on role or user attribute. We did not treat these models as theoretical constructs, but as real design choices that have implications for efficiency, flexibility, and security. Knowing when to use role-based versus attribute-based or combining both for fine-grained entitlements is critical for enterprise IAM architecture. As modern systems evolve to become more federated, we explored identity federation, single sign-on, or SSO, and federated protocols like SAML and OAuth. These allow identity information to be securely shared across domains, reducing the need for multiple accounts and passwords, and improving user experience while centralizing control. We also looked at biometric authentication and behavioral patterns, both of which add layers of trust but introduce concerns about privacy spoofing and irreversible breaches. Multi-factor authentication remains a cornerstone control, something you know, something you have, something you are, and it continues to be one of the strongest deterrents to account compromise. Lifecycle management came next, from the birth of a digital identity through changes in job roles up to deprovisioning at the end of employment. We examined just how important it is to tightly couple IAM systems with HR databases and business workflows to ensure that access rights evolve in real time with organizational changes. Weak identity lifecycle management leads to privilege accumulation, orphaned accounts, and insider risk. We then deepened our focus on access provisioning, entitlement reviews, and access revocation. We highlighted how each of these steps must be governed by policy, automated where possible, and auditable at every stage. These are not simply operational tasks. They are gates that define who can enter, where they can go, and what they can touch. IAM also intersects with governance, risk, and compliance in profound ways. Auditors care deeply about who had access to financial records or sensitive data, at what time and under what authorization. Regulators expect that users be removed from systems the moment they no longer need access. Courts may look at logs of identity events to determine responsibility during an incident. That's why audit trails, time-bound access, escalation workflows, and access attestation are not optional. They are foundational to defensibility and trust. Equally important is how IAM supports the principle of least privilege, role separation, and just-in-time access. These principles prevent lateral movement by attackers and reduce the blast radius of a compromised account. Modern trends such as zero trust architecture place IAM at the center, verifying identity at every step, continuously assessing context, and dynamically adjusting access. IAM is also a linchpin in secure DevOps, where infrastructure is ephemeral, and machines, containers, and APIs have their own identities that must be governed with the same rigor as human users. As we conclude this domain, I urge you not to think of IAM as just a collection of policies or tools. Think of it as a strategic discipline that determines the boundaries of power inside an organization. Who can read what, who can change what, and who is responsible when things go wrong? These are all questions that IAM answers. In the real world, most breaches happen not because a firewall failed, but because someone had access they shouldn't have had, or someone's credentials were misused, or an account lingered long after the user had left. So ask yourself now, is your IAM program reactive or proactive? Are you relying solely on passwords or embracing layered authentication? Are your access models aligned to business rules, or are they built ad hoc? Do you review entitlements or rubber stamp them? When someone leaves your company, how quickly is their access removed? Everywhere. Can you prove who had access to critical systems last month and why? Thank you for your focus and engagement throughout this essential domain. Your understanding of IAM is not only vital for your exam preparation, but more importantly, it equips you to guard the gates of information in any organization you serve. Let's take this clarity forward into our next domain.